Fans, check out the selection of Trailblazers gear at the Trailblazers Fan Shop at Moda Center. Fan Shop is open Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. If you can't make it to the store, you can always shop online. TrailblazersFanshop.com is the place to go. Antonio Harvey sometimes can be spotted in the Fan Shop.
Oh, no, all the time.
Pre-game. Because he gets a nice discount.
I was about to say, anywhere I get a discount, you can find me.
Blazers get the win last night, 107-93. And joining us now to discuss that and more is the head coach of the Trailblazers, Terry Stotts. Coach, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing well. How are you gentlemen doing?
We're doing good, too. Thanks for the time, as always. And nice victory last night to get both L.A. teams and do it with really complete efforts. And last night, dropping the hammer late the way you want to see it done, had to feel good.
Well, yeah, both wins against the Clippers and the Lakers were good wins, especially after the losing streak that we had. But I like the way that we finished both games. Both games were relatively close with 5 minutes to go, and we sealed it. We tightened up our defense in both games. We made clutch plays, and it's good to see that because I thought both games were something to build on.
Coach, the thing that's been impressive is, coming into the season, nobody thought a lot of your bigs and their ability to score the ball outside of Myers Leonard. But Mason Plumlee and Ed Davis have done an excellent job of presenting themselves by setting screens, getting to the right space, and then taking advantage of the opportunities that have presented themselves.
Well, I think they're both efficient players in the paint. And, it's been a process as far as adapting and understanding how we can play off of each other. And, CJ and Dame, having been here for a while, kind of know what we're trying to do. But it was an adjustment for Mason and Ed as far as screening and rolling and spacing. And we're very fortunate in the first 3 years here with LaMarcus that everything kind of fell in and into place. And this year it's been more of an adjustment for everybody. And I was really pleased the way Ed, obviously with his game against the Clippers, and Mason looks more and more comfortable at the offensive end. He's a very versatile player, a very skilled player. And, we just got to keep working towards that and take advantage of their skills.
Coach, it seems like every time we've tried to put a ceiling on Damian Lillard, he kind of crashes through it. Have you been surprised perhaps and pleasantly maybe surprised that he's had the production offensively in terms of just points that he has this season? A lot of people thought perhaps without LaMarcus on the left block, teams would really try to double Dame, and we've seen some of that. But the fact that he's been able to be so efficient with the basketball, scoring it, and now, of course, the assists, 13 last night.
Well, I think going into the season, everybody knew that Damian would be shouldering more of the load, and by the load, not just scoring, but playmaking, facilitating, leadership. I mean, there was going to be more. He was going to have more responsibility. And as you mentioned, going back to his rookie season, people all along the way were saying, well, will he hit a rookie wall or this or that? And, I find that actually it's kind of societal in nature, but there are a lot of naysayers. And Damian just answers the bell. And this is his team. He relishes the role of being the best player, of being the leader. And it doesn't surprise me because of how Damian goes about his business. And frankly, that's what we need, and we need for him to continue to improve in all those areas as well.
His backcourt mate, Coach, the thing I keep hearing everywhere we go is it seems like it's a recurring message. Did they take the leashes off of C.J. McCollum? And I keep trying to explain to people it's not about taking the leashes off. He had this skill set. There was just a lot of depth in front of him, and now he's having a chance to show the world who he is.
What I've said is it's C.J.'s time. C.J. unfortunately had injuries in both his first year and his second year. He came back from injuries right when the team was hitting a stride and trying, it's very difficult to integrate as a young player into a team that's already playing at a high level. He's playing behind Wes Matthews and Mo Williams and later Aaron Aflalo, who we got. So it wasn't time. And I will say this, too, is that CJ is a much better player now than he has been in the first 2 years. He's really improved his ball handling. He's really improved his body. He's gotten stronger. He's able to do some things now that he wasn't able to do. And now is his time, and he's taking full advantage of it.
One big key to closing out games, Coach, and we've talked about this some in the past, you've been so good when holding a lead through three quarters, is free throw shooting. And how do you coach free throws? I mean, it's got to be a difficult thing to coach, but you talk about the team going 67% for the first 7 games, but since then, you've been where you have been the last couple of years, around 80%, and that's a huge factor in slamming the door shut in games like last night's and in Friday's.
Well, we were very fortunate to lead the league in free throw shooting the last 2 years, and having players that you could count on to make free throws. And I will give a lot of credit to Mason Plumlee and Ed Davis in particular, because they've worked really hard. They got off to a slow start shooting free throws. They're very diligent about their work. Mason Plumlee spending a lot of time with Jay Triano, one of our assistants. My personal opinion is that you can't have too many people talking to or trying to help a guy with his free throws or his golf swing or his, batting or whatever. I think it's very important to have a single voice, and the mental component of all those things are very important. And the work that both those guys in particular have put in has helped raise that, and they both should be commended for it.
I'm just looking through some of the stats, Coach, and one of the numbers that jumped out at me was Farouq Aminu's 8 rebounds a game. I didn't realize that he was not only as long and rangy as he is, but he's also more physical than maybe he looks when you watch him out there on the floor.
He is. He's kind of a sneaky athlete. How many times has he gone up and gone vertical thinking he's just going to bother the shot, and he ends up blocking it on the way down. He has a long wingspan. He is not afraid of contact. With Myers Leonard out, now we're playing him at 4 and Mo Harkless at 4, and the teams are matching up. So I think that's an advantage for him because he is used to playing that position. And with his length, and as you mentioned, he's not afraid of contact, and he does get in there, whether it's offensively on drives or defensively. Last night guarding Julius Randle or someone who's a little bit bigger, but that is an advantage that he has.
You've talked early in the season about experimenting with some lineups, searching a little bit for rotations, and we've seen you use a lot of guys. You've used Tim Frazier a little bit recently. You've used Cliff Alexander. Noah Vonleh has been starting. Cliff and Noah are just 20 years old. Are you settling in, or do you think this season you're just going to have options and it'll be kind of a game-by-game, coach-by-field type situation?
It's really, so far, I don't know how it's going to play itself out, but it's really been a feel in the second half. What I've been trying to do is in the first half, I want to kind of get a little bit of a rotation. I want to manage the minutes, particularly of Damian and CJ, and not have them play. I like keeping them at 16, 17 minutes in the first half, so if I need them in the second half, I can extend their minutes a little bit. But it's really been a feel in the second half as far as what combinations, matchups, and lineups that I think give us the best chance. And I think the Clipper game is probably the best example of that, where you have Mason Plumlee and then Davis, who really hadn't played much together except at Utah when they played, I think, about 5 minutes together. But it was a game that kind of suited both of them. Their matchups defensively were good. It worked out well in the first half. We rolled with it in the second half. And I think with the roster we have, I don't see myself settling into a set rotation like we've seen the last couple of years with this team.
Coach, schedule doesn't get any easier. Chicago rolls into town tomorrow night. Sounds like Derrick Rose could make his return. What do you expect from the Bulls?
Well, I expect Derrick Rose to play, and they haven't played, I guess, for 3 days, so they'll be fresh. I think a lot of those guys on that team are hard-nosed competitors. Jimmy Butler and Taj Gibson and Joakim Noah and Derrick Rose. I mean, you go down the list, they got a lot of competitors. They play a little bit different style with Fred Hoiberg. There's a little bit more movement to the offense, more dribble handoffs, and a little bit more flow to it. But they've kept a lot of the same defensive concepts, and they're playing very well. And we have our work cut out for us. But I like the way we're playing. It's always good to be at home, and I'm looking forward to it.
Coach, we appreciate the time as always on a night off, and want to let you get back to whatever it is you were doing before. But thank you as always for joining us.
It's always play. You know what? I really prefer in studio. I wish I didn't have to deal with the traffic because I really prefer talking to you guys face to face.
Well, that's nice to hear. And I don't blame you, though, for trying to avoid the traffic, which seems like it's bad every night and every day and no matter what time you try to come down here. So we appreciate it.
All right. Have a good evening. See you tomorrow.
All right. The head coach, Terry Stotts, our guest here on Trailblazers Courtside. We'll come back with a segment. We may just throw Joe Freeman in early. Who cares? Joe's here. You know, he's always ready. Joe, you need any time to stretch or anything? Are you okay? All right. Joe Freeman coming up next segment. Trailblazers Courtside on Comcast Sportsnet, Rip City Radio 620, and Trailblazers.com.